chronic diseases, that just by strengthening the immune system, the side effects of modern medicine can also be reduced.
That's quite remarkable. I mean, this is a natural healthcare system,
right,
an ancient healthcare system. And I think some of our viewers may be wondering, Ayurveda is very old,
yeah,
right? It goes back thousands of years. And in our society today, we may have some unique problems that are modern problems. Yeah. For example, the other day I was watching a news broadcast, and they were talking about children who are eating fruits and vegetables sprayed with pesticides and herbicides, and they found a direct link between the children eating those fruits and vegetables with those poisons and learning disabilities.
Yes.
And I think there are more things that are going to come out like that. And
right. We have actually quite an interesting study, and the main focus in the Lancaster Health Center is the so-called Panchakarma treatment. And that means, translated from the Sanskrit, 5 different kinds of treatments. They are combined in such an intelligent way that our physiology will be able, in a very smooth way, to get rid of those toxins. We have 2 kinds of toxins. We have the so-called water-soluble toxins. We can eliminate those by practicing sports, exercising, go to the sauna, or drinking water. And the pesticides that you mentioned, and herbicides, and also the heavy metals, they are called the so-called fat-soluble toxins. And they are known to stay for about 50 years in the body.
That long?
That long. And there is some preliminary research that was conducted. There were about 120 people who were going through this cleansing therapy, which is called Panchakarma, which is a very beautiful treatment. People come there, as I said, for about a week, 5 days. People could also come for a day spa just to get a taste of it. And it's a combination of diet and herbalized oil massages and other heat treatments just to eliminate the toxins. And there were about 120 people going through the treatment for about 1 or 2 weeks average. And the control group, they were just participating in some health education program. And blood tests were taken before and after the treatment. And the blood samples were taken to the Colorado Spring University, and the professors did not know what the people were doing. They were just looking for 10 pesticides and herbicides in the blood. And in the control group, there was no change, the exercise and the health education group, whereas the people who went for the Maharishi Ayurveda Panchakarma treatment, they had an average reduction of all the 10 environmental toxins by 58% in average. So it's a very significant
That's remarkable.
Really. And these pesticides and herbicides, they are correlated. I didn't know about the study that you mentioned, but I know that they are associated, these toxins, with allergies, with tumor diseases, and also with heart diseases. So all the big diseases in our society.
Well, that's a remarkable study, to think that you could get these chemicals out of your body that could be there for 50 years. How do people feel when they go through the clinic? I mean, how does it impact their happiness, their inner peace? Do they have, and how long do the effects last after a week of treatment at your clinic?
Yeah. Well, when people come, first they usually just have a health education session, and like the Vaidya that we have there, the Indian expert. He's really a great expert. He was a professor in India before. He's making a health evaluation, and on the basis of the imbalances that he feels in the pulse, he's giving a treatment plan for the people. So they have a change of diet for a couple of days, and then for about 2-3 hours a day. And you can see here some nice movie that show how wonderful the treatments are. We are using very precious herbalized oils, and the ladies are always treated by ladies, the men by men. This is part of the tradition. And these treatments are very relaxing. They're done in complete silence.
Wow.
And when people come out of the treatment, they're just radiant. They say, I just feel like in heaven. And then we have a very specific cuisine that is tailored to the different phases. It's a vegetarian diet, but it's very delicious and still very nourishing. And then we have some very beautiful knowledge program. We have lectures in the evening. We offer yoga postures. People can learn to meditate. And when people go away, they just love it, you know. They just say, I feel so much younger, so much better. And the effects really last a long time. I just did it 2 weeks myself before coming here. And you just feel wonderful, you know.
You look good.
The tiredness goes away and you have more energy. And there's a few other studies also that show that the risk factor for getting a heart attack is reduced significantly. There are studies that show that the digestive power is improving and that the tension is reducing and fear, anxiety is reduced. And I must say in my clinic in Germany, 40% of the customers we have, they come every year, every few years. And another 30% come just because of recommendations, referrals from satisfied customers. It just spreads by word of mouth, basically.
Well, it's certainly something that we need in this country, you know, right now, because there's so many pressures and so much stress and so many impurities in the environment. We're going to put your website on the screen with the phone number if anyone would like to call and come out for a visit. And as I understand, people are welcome just to come out and see the clinic in Lancaster.
Right.
It's a very beautiful place. Go for a walk.
Yeah. Or they could just call to make an appointment for a wellness consultation, which takes about an hour.
Very good.
And I think we have more to offer. People may think that these treatments, they're luxurious and expensive. It's true, because they're very labor intensive. But we have many things to offer that really don't cost a lot of money in the area, for example, of health education or herbal food supplements. And you see many diseases, especially in this country and other civilized so-called countries, they just come because of lack of knowledge, for instance, in the area of diet and nutrition. You know, people drink in America a lot of cold water and ice. And we know from Ayurveda that this is weakening the digestive power. And instead of drinking cold water, if people would sip hot water, they would have tremendous benefits, you know.
So this is a health tip for
This is a health tip,
audience.
you know.
Yeah.
And or if people just practice transcendental meditation, which is easy to learn to practice, there's so much scientific evidence. And in fact, I don't know if you know, the National Institute of Health has sponsored research on transcendental meditation and heart diseases with about $23 million. And the outcome is really very impressive.
So this is something that is really, the scientific community is taking a very, very close, serious look at this. You know, can you contrast modern medicine and Ayurveda? I mean, modern medicine in this country is very expensive. And ironically, we don't have the best health in the world, even though we have this very expensive healthcare system. So what do you think we're doing wrong, and how can Maharishi Ayurveda either complement this, or how does it fit in with modern medicine?
I would say it's a complementary system of medicine. What is lacking in many Western countries, not only America, is the knowledge about life, the knowledge about proper diet, you know, and lifestyle and daily routine. And this knowledge actually should be provided already in kindergarten. And so there's, for example, for diet, you know, the main meal should be eaten just, you know, during lunchtime, and then just a light dinner, for example. And if you have wrong eating habits, it creates many problems in the future. But coming to your question, what is the difference? Modern medicine is mainly a disease management. And modern medicine is, of course, necessary, but modern medicine starts only at stage number 5, whereas Ayurveda is very strong in preventing diseases at the early stages. And we have very effective herbal preparations, food supplements, that are strengthening that part of the body that needs strength by enlivening the intelligence. And there's some very interesting research studies that have been found. And this shows the integration also of modern medicine and Ayurveda. In India, the land of the Veda, there were about 200 ladies